So, friends, welcome back to Hobby Vomit. It's me, Matt, and I am here for another Weekly Retch in a video series in which I talk about what movies I watched, what books I read, and what games I played in the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, we're going to keep this, maybe we won't keep it short and sweet, but I'm going to get right into it with what movies, or what did I watch in the last 2 weeks. So, I watched 4 movies, and I'm going to talk about one TV show as well. So the 4 movies I watched were Sinners, Sing Sing, Companion, and Until Dawn. So let's talk about those. Sinners, it's the hot movie right now. It is the movie that, everybody is seeing, and it has one of the biggest word of mouth spreads that has happened in theaters for a long time. Maybe since I think the last time I've heard this many people talking about a movie just purely word of mouth was Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was a few years ago. So it's been a big deal. And I was a little hesitant going to see this because I thought the trailer was pretty bad. Didn't think the trailer looked very good at all. But it was doing really well, particularly on Letterboxd, which is a site that I tend to trust. And so, Bree and I went and saw it, and it was good. I left thinking it was I was right in between. I was right at a 3.75, and I didn't know whether to round up or round down. Just walking out of the theater, I rounded up. It was a fun theater experience, and so I rounded it up to a 4. So I gave this a 4 out of 5. Now that I've sat with it for about a week and a half, I think there's quite a few problems with this movie, and I have now since moved it down to a 3.5. Still a good movie. I'm really excited to see what Ryan Coogler does in the future. I thought all the performances were really good. There's just it felt too much like two separate movies that he just decided he wanted to clash them together, and with that comes a lot of problems. So I think this movie is going to kind of fall from grace a little bit as we separate from its release. It's still going to be considered a good movie, but right now I think it's sitting in Letterboxd top 170 of all time. And it's just not, I don't think, objectively. So we'll see. I think it's going to kind of follow the path of Black Panther, where it was really hyped when it first came out and has now kind of fallen maybe to its more rightful place as a film. I think Sinners will do the same, but really stoked for what it's doing as a movie, right? It's an original movie that everybody is going to see, which is awesome because that's what we want, right? We want, or that's what I want, is more original film, but a lot of people aren't going to see original films, so they're not being supported as much. But Sinners is doing, it's insane how well it's doing. So very happy for that. Happy for Ryan Coogler and excited to see what he does in the future. Hopefully another original movie. So that was Sinners. I watched Sing Sing as part of our movie club here on Hobby Vomit. And if you didn't happen to catch our discussion video, we discussed it. I was the lowest on it, but it was still a very solid 3.5 for me. I think everybody should watch this movie. Some really incredible performances, but also some pretty lackluster performances as well. But yeah, all in all, really enjoyed it. And if you want to hear more, go watch that discussion. Then Bree and I watched Companion. This was a movie I was really excited to see in theaters, but just never got to go see it. And I think after watching, I really enjoyed it. And it was not really what I was expecting. It's not more of a comedy, but it's pretty funny. It's like a horror comedy blend. And really was impressed by Sophie Thatcher's performance. She was really, really great. And the other actors in it were great as well. And so this is, in my opinion, as far as a horror movie goes, this is the best horror movie of the year. It's better than Sinners, I think. But I'm not going to talk about the movie. But last Weekly Retch, I talked about Warfare, and I gave it a 3.5. I gave Companion a 3.5 as well. So just more of it's leaning towards a 3.75. But so far, all three of these movies have been 3.5s. But yeah, last Weekly Retch, I talked about a movie called Warfare by A24. And after sitting with that for a couple of weeks, I've actually bumped my score from a 3.5 to a 4. I think it's the best movie I've seen this year. It has really stuck with me. And so for that reason, I decided to give it a little bump. I was the same. It basically did the opposite of Sinners, where I was at a 3.75, didn't know where to put it, so I rounded down. And I think over time I should have rounded up. So that's sitting at a 4 and my highest ranked movie of the year. And then we saw Until Dawn. Until Dawn was a lot of fun. We love horror movies, and we love going to see horror movies, even if they look like they're not going to be good. And this one wasn't very good, but it was so much fun. As like someone that loves horror movies, if you loved like Cabin in the Woods and like getting to see the variety of horror, kind of like a love letter to horror, that's what Until Dawn was. And I've played the video game a long time ago, and from what I remember, this was almost nothing like the video game. I think they literally just took the name and plopped it in there. So, yeah, I'm not really sure why they did that other than just try to get people to go see it. But I could see why that would maybe upset some people. But, oh, no, it was fine. I gave it a 2.5. It was a really fun watch, but I'll never, pretty forgettable. Just in and out, but had a good time going to the theaters. Okay, so those are the 4 movies I watched, and then I wanted to talk about one show that I watched, or have been watching. Been watching a couple different shows, but the one I want to talk about is The Rehearsal. Oh my gosh, this show is so good. If you've not heard of The Rehearsal, or you don't know who Nathan Fielder is from Nathan For You, do yourself a favor and just check it out. It's not for everybody. 100% this show is not for everybody, but I think that no matter, regardless of whether you like it or not, it's short enough to where you can just binge it. And I think you will leave, 1, it will stick with you. And 2, I think you will walk away thinking, wow, I've never watched anything like that. It's super unique. And I find the humor, it's just to my liking. I think it's hilarious. Season 2 so far has been a pretty big step above 1 for me, and I love 1, but season 2 has been very, very good. So if you've not seen The Rehearsal, go ahead and check it out. Very good. So that's what I watched in the last 2 weeks. Let's talk about the books I've read in the last 2 weeks. So I've read quite a few books, or I've been reading quite a few books. As far as books I've finished, let's start with books I finished first, and that's 2 books. So the first book I finished was Mercy, Tears of the Fallen by Chance Dillon. Chance Dillon is a booktuber who has been writing a book. I signed up to get an advanced reading copy. I think it's called an ARC, or basically. So you just get to read it before it comes out to give you a review on it. So I signed up for that. He sent it over, and basically pitched it as for fans of Joe Abercrombie and Malazan and what was the other one? Elden Ring. And so that definitely piqued my interest. Read it. Kind of devoured it. I wasn't expecting to be so hooked on it, just because I've read varying degrees of success from booktubers so far, but happy to report this was very good, really dense. So it's certainly leaning into that Malazan comparison, to where you got to be okay with really dense world building and being confused for a lot of the time. You got to be okay with that, because this does not hold your hand. He just drops you in. But really loved it. I've been thinking about it pretty much since I finished it. I gave that a 4.5 out of 5. And my review for that should be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Oh, sorry, I forgot to add another book on here. I can't remember if I talked about this in the last Weekly Retch. I may have, but I'll just mention it. I finished Down in the Holler by Bridget Riley. Note, Bridget is Ian's wife, so just disclaimer. I guess I want to say that just in case. But I want to believe I gave it a fair review. That should come out this Tuesday. Really like this novella. Yeah, it's more of a novella than a full novel, but kind of like a psychic detective solving a cold case. Reminded me a lot of Holly Gibney. Really enjoyed it. Great character work. Excited to read more. I gave this a 4 out of 5. All right, the other book I finished was Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. There will be a review for this in the next month or so. I'm going to record it soon, but I've got a backlog of book reviews because I only post one a week. So I finished that doing a buddy read with my friend Colin, and I feel I've almost never felt more conflicted on a book than this book, because the cool factor and just the readability and the world building and the setting and all of it was so good, but the character work was so bad. I'm just torn because I really like the book, but I'm a big character driven reader, and the character development in this book is basically non-existent. It almost doesn't exist. And the little that does exist, Christopher Buehlman just tells me what happens with this development instead of showing me. And I really didn't like that because it felt like a story that I could see the greatness in it if I could get attached to these characters, but I never did because there's just no character work. So I struggled. I think I landed at a 3.5 out of 5, and you'll see in the Barf review in about a month what that breakdown is. Potential to be a 5 out of 5, really, if the character work was a lot stronger. And I did have some problems with the plotting and pacing a little bit as well. But man, as far as like horror imagery and like dark fantasy imagery, it's incredible. I mean, I'm gonna remember some of those scenes for a very long time. So that was Between Two Fires, a 3.5 out of 5. And then all the books that I am currently reading. I've mentioned this. I'm working very, very slowly through The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett's the first Discworld book. I had always heard it's not really a great starting place in Discworld because it's not the best. It's, in fact, one of the worst. And I could see that. I could see it. I'm just reading it at night sometimes because it's really, it's not dense or anything. It's just easy to read. I get I don't think this is going to score super highly. I'm guessing this is going to land at about a 3 out of 5 for me. I'm enjoying it, and it's fun to see like the fantasy tropes, and I like the characters, but it's written in like this very strange episodic format that I don't think is really working for me. I could see the potential. I'm excited to read more Discworld, but this one's not really blowing me away or anything. It's just fine. Then I'm also reading Dead House Gates with Ian. That's the book 2 from the Malazan series. And we are currently working through that for our discussion series. We posted our first video for Dead House Gates in which we read part 1. Every Malazan book from 2 through 10 is broken down into 4 parts. And basically we're going to make a discussion video for all of those parts. So right now I'm currently reading part 2 of Dead House Gates. And I'm loving it. It's great. So I won't say too much more about that. You can check out our discussion videos as they come out if you want to hear our thoughts on Dead House Gates. I'm also reading Lonesome Dove still. Today, that you're watching this, Sunday, I will have finished this book, and we're reading this as part of like a family book club. So I'm 2 chapters away as of recording this on Saturday from finishing. And I can't wait to finish and talk about it with my family because this might be the easiest 5-star I've ever given to a book. I mean, unless something radical changes in the last 2 chapters, which it's chapters 101 and 2 or something. So there's like 100 chapters, and I just can't imagine enough is going to change to alter my score. It's been excellent. Some of the best character work I've ever read. Best character I've ever read. Oh my gosh. Really, really excellent. And yeah, I don't know. Historical fiction is really doing it for me between this and the Robert McCammon book I read, Speaks the Nightbird. I think I might just really like historical fiction. We'll see. Maybe because it seems like historical fiction of the ones I've read are very character focused. It's like a snapshot in time, but it's all about the characters. And that's true of Lonesome Dove as well. It's just a journey, and I've loved going on that journey with these characters. A lot of things have happened, a lot of things that we've kind of discussed of that maybe we did think was going to happen, and then a ton of stuff that we've never even thought maybe could happen. So it's been really fun, and I'm excited. I'm sad to wrap it up, but I'm excited to wrap it up and talk about it, and then we'll be choosing our next family book club tomorrow. So I'm excited for that, or today if you're watching this. All right, and then the last book I am currently reading that I just started is called Discovery. This is another BookTuber's book, J.A.J. Minton. This is a family of 3, so a mother, a father, and their son, all co-wrote this book called Discovery. It's a cosmic horror set in the 90s, the early 90s, about this basically this TV show, ex reality TV show host who is basically trying to get in the star spotlight again by going out and finding this sub that disappeared years prior out in the ocean, and things go wrong pretty quickly, and it's more about we're kind of seeing it post that and like looking back and figuring out what happened from. I think it's going to be different POVs. I've only read the first first 100 pages or so, and it's really good. Again, I've read different varying degrees of success for booktubers. This one, the writing style has been really good. Reminds me a lot of King with the character work and the dialogue. And you can really feel the different influences. I think like they opened like a theater together. They're really into theater. The son is really into film. And then I think the mother went to school for writing, if I remember correctly from what I've seen. And you can really feel those different influences all kind of working together. And it's really good. Surprisingly very, very good. So, yeah, those are the books I'm reading and or have read. And I'm excited to continue all of those. All right. And then finally, we're going to talk about what games I played. I've not been playing a ton of games. 3 games, in fact, that I've played. Marvel Champions, just continuing on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. campaign with Josh, who you may have seen on the channel. We've done the first 4 of the 5 scenarios, so we're going to wrap up that 5th scenario soon-ish. Really enjoying it. Really enjoying Nick and Maria as heroes. So far, all 4 of the villains have been really fun. I've not played them beyond just the one time, other than Black Widow. I've not played any of the others solo, but 2-player they've been really good. So really enjoying that. And then Ian and I are working through our custom campaign of Fantastic Four made by Design Hacker. We're playing that as a series on this channel. We just recorded the second video, but we ran into some problems, so we're going to have to re-record it. But hopefully that'll be out soon. So that's Marvel Champions. I've also played a game of Guild of Merchant Explorers, which you may have heard Ian talk about in his Weekly Retch. He couldn't remember the name, but it's Guild of Merchant Explorers, in which it's almost like a flip and write. Instead of writing, you're putting out cubes on a map. You're all playing your own kind of game, but as the game progresses, you start to get a little sense of asymmetry, which is nice. Really simple game, but a lot of fun. It's not a game that feels like you're playing to win, because the scores, at least in my experience, have been wildly different. And to the point where there's a really interesting decision. Like, your score at the end of the game is how much money you have. But anytime you earn money, you keep it face down, so you don't know the value of, or so that your opponents don't know the value of it. It's always been a really weird decision to me. And I think now that I've played it enough, I think they made that decision because scores are so wildly, varied, that they didn't want people to get discouraged halfway through the game because you're getting trounced by somebody. But that happens. It's happened in almost every game I've played of it. The scores are just, you just don't play it to be competitive. You just play to have a good time. And yeah, that's Guild of Merchant Explorers. Really like that game. And then lastly, I played Men Nefer, which is a really fun Euro game by German Milan, I think is his name. Same guy that did Sabika. And this takes place, oh my gosh, theme in Euros is hard. It's like an Egyptian-themed game. You're putting out sphinxes, and you're building an obelisk, and you're putting in sarcophagi into this area. But I don't know. It's a Euro game to where a really almost simple game of through each round, you're going to play 3 rounds, and each round you're going to either put out a person and do the action on the tile that was associated with that person, or move a person over after you've put them out and then move up on the corresponding track and take that action, or take a new tile, and you're going to do each of those things 3 times, but you get to decide in what order you do all of those 9 actions. So very simple, but man, it's really, really fun. I played the solo mode. Wildly messed up the solo mode rules, but I feel like I get the game rules. I just need to lock in the solo player stuff, which the solo mode's fine. I kind of wish like I didn't have to put out a whole board for them and move all their pieces and stuff, but it's fine. But I really, really like the game. I'm excited to play it again. I've got it set up on my table to play a second game of it. But yeah, that's it. We talked about the movies I watched, we talked about the books I read, and we talked about the games I played, and I think that's all I've got to say for this Weekly Retch. Thanks for watching, and you will see Ian next Sunday for his Weekly Retch. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.